If you want to make sure you stay in good conversation, you gotta tune in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. That's me, Thursday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the only station, WHPR TV 33. See you soon. Rise and shine, up and at 'em. Doesn't it feel like fall to you? The Christmas in the air. If you had your windows open, I bet you figured, let me get up and close them because it's a little chilly outside. No matter what, that's your senses working with what is happening in nature, and we are thankful because we are proud of it. We are able to experience it. So great morning to you. I am Collette. You're now officially tuned in to Coffee and Collette, and I do my curtsy. And you know that Fridays are our Son of Man Friday from 7 to 8 a.m. and then our Freestyle Friday from 8 to 9 a.m. And we have a full show for you today. You always know that there's more than one way to have a conversation. That is our mantra on this show. We know that when you walk away from this conversation, whether you are watching us live on TV 33 or Comcast or streaming live or Roku, that you will be educated, enlightened, and empowered. There's more than one way to have a conversation. And like we say on this show, you call in. It is not just what we think. As long as you have a position, you call in and we can talk about it respectfully. We can agree to disagree, but I know it'll put something on your mind. And when it's all said and done, you'll be better because of it. Let me give you our call-in numbers, 313-868-0342, 313-868-0351, and 313-868-4336. Before I bring in the Son of Man, I'm going to give you all a recap because I really wanted us to continue the conversation from yesterday. And thank you for everyone who called in. For those that I missed, I definitely would welcome extending the invitation for you to call in today so that I can make sure your voice is heard. We talked about disasters. And so I gave you the general premise that I think all media outlets are giving you is that the natural disasters that we are experiencing with Hurricane Harvey, and then I believe that they saw another hurricane, was it Emma or Irma, somewhere yesterday, trolling around, getting ready to do something. But we were able to see the real images of people devastated by the hurricane. And so I presented to you yesterday that it's so interesting that in the wake of what we say we believe and who America is, that the most devastating counties in Texas, there were about 18 total, that over half of those, it was about 12 out of the 18, had voted Republican, so they had voted for President Trump. And at the end of the day, it is those same most hit counties that are going to be looking to the government to give them some aid, and that's going to be out of the aid that the president has slashed in his budget suggestions. And so I asked, in the midst of all of this natural destruction, have you thought about a component of a man-made destruction? And what happens when natural destruction meets man-made destruction? And so we have the actual example of Katrina. Katrina was a natural devastation, and then you put men on top of it, men, women, people who are in policy, who are in government, who don't have the best interest of the people, who perhaps look at those individuals in those wards who are devastated as surplus labor. And so whether you ever become whole, if you were ever whole in the onset, we aren't going to fix it. We're not responsible for you. And so I asked you to look at that from a disaster standpoint. We sit and think that disaster always has to be some great, big, huge event that happens. And if you look at the definition of disaster, like we presented yesterday, yes, it is an accident that occurs, an immediate incident that has an impact. But I implored you to think about the concept of a daily disaster that poor people live in, period. It's a disaster to have poor education. It's a disaster to have inadequate housing. It's a disaster to have inadequate services. It's a disaster to have inadequate employment. We're now looking at the fight for 15 when people are just trying to get a fair wage to live. It's not even, they're just working to pay bills. And so with the midst of all of that, we live in it daily, and there's no batting of an eye at it. And so we're so up in arms, and you see everyone across this country, and as I shared, I have family and friends, and all of us actually are giving our hearts out to the individuals who are devastated right now because of the literal hurricane. But there are people in that town who've been devastated every day of their lives. The condition in which they live, the poverty in which they live is devastating, and that is disastrous to them. I presented some information to you yesterday that suggests that there's a psychology to poverty, because we always say, oh, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. The opportunities are here. You're just not seizing them. You're just not working hard enough. And so I presented yesterday that when a dynamic is created, when the disaster is created around you and for you, that you perhaps don't even have the mindset, and you're not even conscious enough to know that you have a mindset that would not allow you to get out of that situation, out of that devastation. It's what you live every day. And I want to give us the kind of comments that I shared yesterday. And callers, I see you. You know, I'm going to give this, and I want to bring Son of Man on, and then I'm going to go to you. So don't worry, I'm going to get us in. I want to give us the quick overview. You know, President Obama was the president at the time of Hurricane Katrina, and he went into New Orleans, and he had some comments. And this is a comment that I want to share on how the government failed the New Orleans residents. Quote, and this came from our own President Barack Hussein Obama. And it states, and I was about to jump to something else. Okay. We came to realize that what started out as a natural disaster became a man-made disaster, a failure of government to look out for its own citizens. And the storm laid bare a deeper tragedy that had been brewing for decades. Because we came to understand that New Orleans, like so many cities and communities across the country, for too long have been plagued by structural inequalities that left too many people, especially poor people, especially people of color, without good jobs or affordable health care or decent housing. Too many kids grew up surrounded by violent crime, cycling through substandard schools, where few had a shot to break out of poverty. And so, like a body weakened already, undernourished already, when the storm hit, there were no resources to fall back on. And so I'm presenting it to you today, and we're going to get the insight of the Son of Man momentarily, that when we think about what is happening around us, do you think that it's by design? Do you think that that force of nature wasn't a product of other dynamics that are happening in the universe? I'd love to understand what it looks like now out of those 18 counties that were devastated, if indeed you were looking to make America great again and you are a part of that devastation. And as I shared yesterday, 80% of the individuals who were hit by Hurricane Harvey are not insured. Did you get that? So there's no insurance. So I would like to believe, I just set up the mindset that these were probably individuals who were renting homes. They didn't own the homes. They were renting the homes. So they didn't have the ownership of the home. Then they didn't have the renter's insurance to cover what they lost in the flood. But I'm sure that those who own the homes had the insurance and they're going to get relief and they're going to get things fixed. But those who were renting and trying to survive in that space now have lost everything. And so in the midst of that, so you have a physical dynamic, but then I'm going to add a component to it of the strength in the inner man. I shared a quote yesterday, and it states, and I'm going to give it to you again, and it was from English author and poet and writer, and his name was Gilbert Chesterton. And he says, the poor object to being governed badly, while the rich object to being governed at all. And so we had callers that called in, and everyone was great in sharing who they were pointing the fingers at and why people weren't having the same conversations and why we have to be mindful of not voting in the same people. But our history has shown that we keep voting in the same people and we keep having the same conversations and they keep saying what we think we want to hear and nothing happens and our dynamic is still the same. And so I'm imploring to you today that maybe the bigger issue is that you don't look to the inner man, strength in the inner man. Because no matter then what is presented to you, you understand that it can be an obstacle in life, but that does not defeat you. When everything around you seems to be crumbling, you can look around and say, okay, all is well with me because your inner man says so. Perhaps you get so caught up in the dynamics of what people do to you, who you believe you are in this flesh, that you identify and then you support that dynamic of living devastated. So many people have called in and you all share with me, oh, Collette, well, this is why we can't have houses. And this is why we don't have jobs. And this is why we and what they, and, stop it. Okay? Stop it. So today we're going to have that. It's a different conversation today. It's going to be that outside of all these finger pointings and all these people who don't do what we say they do and how we vote them in and what the conversation is going to be, I'm talking about the inner man today. That no matter what is happening around you, that your inner man, but then maybe you can't get your inner man right because you don't even understand the power of the inner man. And yes, I put it out there because we go to church every Sunday and Wednesday and probably twice on Tuesday and all those different things. But I promise you, those same people who were going to church, when everything hit them, the natural disaster of the hurricane, everybody was in fear. I presented fear and faith don't go together. Those aren't inclusive. If you have faith, you have faith. And no matter what is happening around you, okay, all is well with me, God, thank you. So you stay thankful. I told you all about the clip, the young man who was helicoptered out with his son and all they had was the clothing on their back. And all he said in the cameras, you should have seen, you probably saw him on nightly news, was thank you, God. Thank you, God. The reporter said, hey, I'm trying to, you lost everything, your car, your house. He said, yes, thank you, God. He said, oh, well, what are you going to do next? I don't know, thank you, God. And he had a son and he was smiling and he had joy and he kept on walking. I wonder how many of us can be that way right now. It's not just the natural devastation. It's the man-made devastation. It's the deplorable conditions that we allow ourselves to be in physically and spiritually and mentally. And so we're going to talk about that today. So it is with all of that that I give the greetings and the words, Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Honorable Son of Man.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you.
I want to say to those who are listening in, who hunger and thirst for that truth that you were referring to, I greet all of you with the greeting words of peace. May Allah, assalamu alaikum. Yes. The inner man, I think that's a good topic. Okay. Most people, they only think that is reference to the self. Well, the self, this is an empty bottle that I'm holding up, and this is a cup that's, was some coffee. Okay. Now, the cup itself and the plastic bottle here, they were like us. When they came off the assembly line, they were empty.
Yes.
And their outside and their inside kind of matched up. You know, they were just plastic, just like us. We are all born flesh.
Yes.
But what we fill this bottle with is water. This is one of those purified Sam's Club water bottles.
Okay.
I plug Sam's Club.
Right. Right.
Uh, so we buy Sam's Club water sometimes, and so that's the inner bottle.
Mm-hmm.
What's in the bottle, what we put in it, is the inner. Is what determines what kind of bottle it is.
Yes.
Likewise, your inner man, as I've been telling you, is the reason you and I suffer so much as black people in America is because our inner man, the mind that's in us, basically is the mind that white people put in us.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's the mind that white people put in us, we keep looking for solutions from white people.
Right.
And even when we claim to have a solution, we get it from the mind that was put in us by the educational system of those who enslaved us.
Yes.
And that's what I'm here to put an end to. Now, that's why over in the book of Job, it's just like the white man, he's not going to tell you that God is doing this. He call it natural disaster.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not no natural disaster. If you had paid attention, you would remember that I just hinted. I didn't actually say it's going to do it. But when they were talking about Harvey, I told them, it don't have to keep on going. It can go back out there and come back in.
Right.
No sooner than I had said it, it did that.
Yeah.
Now, you think that this is, as I told everybody, just because you don't believe I'm the Son of Man, you better wake up. There's a whole lot of things that you don't believe that happen.
Right.
If people didn't believe that Donald Trump was going to get elected president, but he's president now.
Right.
People didn't believe that President Barack Obama, Senator Barack Obama, was going to be elected president, me included.
Okay.
I didn't vote for him when he first ran,
Wow.
but he became president.
Okay.
So just because you don't believe a thing, don't mean that thing ain't gonna happen.
Good point.
And just because you don't like something, don't make it not so. Now, you know that the book told you, if you had paid attention, that as it was in the days of Noah and Lot, that's how it would be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. Mm-hmm. Now, if Jesus was the Son of Man that was talking about, then why did he say the Son of Man had to be revealed? Mm-hmm. But anyway, that is a subject that's deeper than this little time that we talking on. But I want you to understand, in the book of Job, the 38th chapter, and the 22nd verse, it says, hast thou entered into the treasures of the snow, or hast thou seen the treasures of the hail, which I have reserved against the time of trouble, against the day of battle and war? Now, if the snow at the North Pole and the South Pole, the Arctic and Antarctic circles, mm-hmm. if that was the treasure, if that is a treasure, and it is, it's a treasure trove of snow and ice.
Right.
And then you saw pieces of it, big as Texas, breaking off. Now you see what's being done with it. Mm-hmm. It's being dumped on all these people who hate their father and mother and dishonor us. Here, you know, I'm sitting here in Mississippi.
Right.
You saw all these storms and stuff hit all around in Texas and Louisiana, And I told them, you better be glad that I have some guests coming here. That's why New Orleans didn't get tore up, because some of my guests was coming in on the plane in New Orleans. They had a very smooth trip here. But the point is, I don't have to bite my tongue now. I am the Lord, and soon all of you gonna know it. And this man, you remember I told them that all these rednecks, all these people that's in the Ku Klux Klan, and these people that's on the skinheads and the Nazi parties and all these haters of black people. I told them, you better get out of them organizations. Okay. Because now I didn't take a toll on like you did, Collette, but I guess you're right. Most of them counties that was hit was Trump supporters.
Yes. And
that's these rednecks and KKK and all these haters of their father and mother. Yes. You haven't heard no white person come in here and tell us that we are not the fathers and mothers of all human beings.
Right.
So now they being ran off the land. Land that ain't never been flooded before. It's being underwater now. Yeah. Why? Because we gave them that land. We the ones that gave birth to all of these young races of people. And we are the ones who gave them the territories to go and do what they're doing with it. Yeah. And the book says, honor your father and your mother that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. But they dishonor us. Look at this. Listen to this. Okay. This just broke the news.
We see here on Channel 2 Action News, a Cobb County police officer making some controversial comments, to say the least, during a traffic stop. He's now on administrative duties while the department conducts an internal investigation. Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie obtained the video through an open records request.
Use your phone. It's in your lap right there.
I just don't want to put my hands down. I'm really sorry. I'm just...
You just really drunk.
No. Not just be wasting any videos of stuff.
But you're not black. Remember, we only kill black people. Yeah, we only kill black people, right? All the videos you've seen, have you seen black people get killed? Yeah.
It's on the video, and we're going to deal with it.
A recording we obtained after an open records...
Notice what he said. It's on the video.
Right.
And we're going to deal with it.
Yes.
But see, they already tried to start dealing with it.
Right.
Trying to make it fair seeming that he was just trying to calm that lady down.
Wow.
What do you suppose would happen if a black officer was saying to a black person, and he was overheard saying, look, we only out here and we only going to kill white folks.
Right.
What do you suppose would happen? Would he be on administrative leave?
Right.
Or would he be fired and probably under arrest?
Right.
Because every shooting, if he had been involved with killing somebody, they would have brought it back up, and they would have charged him with at least second-degree murder.
Right.
Because out of his own mouth, he had already said he only kills black people. And he said we. So then they got to bring all them, who is the we?
Right.
Okay. I told you ain't got nothing but all these rednecks and all these hateful people that hate us. They riding around here in uniforms with a license to murder us.
Yes.
Now, how many hurricanes they done spotted out there on the way here?
Right.
I'm going to fix you. I'm going to fix every one of you that hate me. And I'll sit right here in Mississippi and watch this. Let me show you something else.
Okay.
I'll sit right here in Mississippi, and you will watch what that thing does to people. Watch this.
Christie, he and his wife Karen toured the damage in Rockport, Fulton, and other communities that were hit hard by the eye wall of this Category 4 hurricane, and he pledged his support and the president's support in the recovery efforts.
Now, before I let you finish looking at that, look at who's there. Where's the president?
Yeah.
This the man they elected president, And he sent somebody there to tell them they got his support and that he's going to donate $1 million or whatever.
Right.
You know what that means.
Right.
You know, he told somebody else he's going to donate. Remember, he promised a donation to the veterans and they found out he never gave it?
Right.
But anyway, watch this.
Trump sent us here to say we are with you. The American people are with you.
Now, President Trump announced he will personally donate $1 million to Harvey relief. It's two different disasters. You have the flooding disaster in Houston, and then you have the Cat 4 making landfall with winds over 130 miles an hour down towards Corpus and Rockport. Now, it's the eye wall that has the worst winds.
Listen to what she's about to tell you here about what that tornado, that hurricane did.
Okay.
And I told you, not only could we produce these hurricanes and bring them here, we can make them sit over this whole country and sweep everybody off.
Okay.
And I could be right there in the middle of the eye. Right. Or I could park it right over where I'm at. And the eye could sit there over me and sweep everybody else out of here. And watch this.
Okay.
You get inside the eye wall, you have the eye of the hurricane. And believe it or not, it's clear. Inside of a well-defined eye, you can see the stars. And we have a picture of that from Simon Brewer, who's a storm chaser. You can see the stars. I mean, just remarkable. Now, you don't really want to get in the eye because that means you've been through one side of the eye wall, you get the calm, and then you got to go through the other side of the eye wall, and that's where you get the most destruction. So, Jen, they didn't have the issues with the flooding like we did in Houston down there. It was just straight winds that annihilated them. I've seen some of the pictures and the videos, Steph, and it looks like an EF2 or EF3 tornado just went through the entire town and sat there and just raked the town for hours. Here was just how slow. It was just straight winds that annihilated them. I've seen some of the pictures and the videos, Steph, and it looks like an EF2 or EF3 tornado just went through the entire town and sat there and just raked the town for hours. Here was just how slow-moving Harvey was from landfall when it hit.
I told you that you was going to have these tornadoes and hurricanes and stuff coming through, walking through your community like on a leisurely stroll. Yeah. You ain't seen nothing yet. You mark my words. I'm going to fix you. Right. It's just like that one comes leaving his threat about what he got a surprise for the Muslim. You ain't never had, you ain't know how much you messed up, boy. Anyway, I'm not hiding from you. Anyway, I want to say to my people, to black people, don't be afraid of them no more. They finna get everything they got coming. Now, you Caucasian people that ain't got no dog in the hunt against us, I'm not talking about you. But all you rednecks out there, and all you bad actors, all you murderers walking around here in police uniform, you gonna get what you got coming. And you mark my words. Now, anyway, he, you know, the devil said he was gonna make evil fair seeming. Now notice, now he done got an officer telling you he don't kill nobody. We don't kill none but black people.
Right.
Now watch what they say behind that.
Right.
Listen to what they say. Now they're gonna try to justify what he said.
Request reverberate. The chief indicated a veteran police supervisor was speaking to a passenger in a
reach me, bro? Okay.
July 2016 DUI stop who expressed reservations about putting her hands down to retrieve a cell phone in light of recent police shootings.
No matter what context it was said in, it should not have been said.
Chief Mike Register, who was not with the department in July.
You notice, he ain't said, he just said that shouldn't have been said.
It shouldn't have been said, right.
Listen to how he's double talking now.
Right.
He didn't say that it wasn't right. He had no business saying that.
Right.
Huh? No, you gonna tell it.
Yeah.
Whenever Allah destroys a people, their only cry is they say, surely we were wrongdoers. See, he confessing that he's a wrongdoer.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So when you see what happened to you for your wrongdoing, I'm not going to shed not one tear over you. Not one. He's in authority. He knows that we don't have no defense against him.
Right.
And they come against us like lions come against sheep. Like wolves come against little chickens and stuff like that. Because of what? He does it because he's a coward and he's a bully. And the main thing is he's the devil. And now he's trying to make his evil fair seeming. Watch him try to talk it away. Listen to this.
July 2016 says Cobb PD has recently enacted serious reforms to deal with perceptions of bias.
We are working so hard as a department to engage with the community.
The officer's attorney, Lance LaRusso, suggests the officer was trying to, quote, de-escalate a situation involving an uncooperative passenger. That his comments were aimed at, quote, attempting to gain compliance by using the passenger's own statements and reasoning.
I can see.
He was trying to he was trying to use something to de-escalate the situation to a white woman that so he said, look, we don't kill white folks, we don't kill none but black people. She's supposed to say, oh, thank God.
Right. I feel better. Right.
No, you're gonna get what you got coming.
Yeah.
And I'm warning all you, my people, black people. I'm talking about, when I say my people there, I'm talking about people who look like me.
Right.
You can choose sides with them if you want them. You're going to get what they get.
So, man, we got a call.
The murderer?
Yeah.
To murder your people?
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting up there telling you we don't kill none but, and he's talking from the whole system.
Yeah, we.
I tell you what, you better not execute no more black people. I don't care how many of them on death row. You better not put to death now another black person. Now, when you hear it happen, you watch what happened after they do it.
Okay.
Son, man, she's trying to get in.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, caller. Excuse me. I told y'all, let me know when Collette is trying to reach me. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, no. So I was going to say, son of man, we got a call. I want to take the call, and then I have a question, okay? Let's go to the lines. Thanks for your patience. Great morning to you. Are you there, caller? Good morning. I can hear your TV, so can you turn it down so I can hear your question?
Can you hear me now, Miss Collette?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. How you doing
There you
today?
go. How are you?
How you doing, son of man?
I'm okay. And yourself?
All right. This is DJ. My first like to give a shout out to R.J. Watkins, all the staff at TV 33. Rest in peace. J.D. Hill. Rest in peace. Mr. Gregory. Thank you so much, Miss Collette, for being a prominent host for WJOB. I mean, not WJOB, TV 33.
Sure.
Thank you, son of man, for gracing her show on a regular basis. I know she appreciates it.
Yeah.
I would like to ask son of man to give a comment on a tool of success, if he would so grace me with his opinion.
Okay.
You say, what is it that you want to ask me, brother?
I said, I wanted to give you, out of my book of Tools of Success, I wanted to give you one of my tools of success, and I wanted you to give me your opinion on it, okay?
Go ahead, brother.
Okay. The tool of success that I would like to give your opinion on is represent your hood through your heart and not through negativity. I'll repeat it one more time. Represent your hood through your heart and not through negativity.
Okay, so let
I
me
would like
repeat
you to
that.
give me your
So,
opinion on that tool of success, son of man.
so the opinion you like Son of Man to give is on representing your hood, so where you live, through
Through
your
your heart
heart
and not through negativity.
and not through negativity. Okay, Son of Man, do you have an opinion on that statement?
Well, the scripture teaches you that the mouth speaks from the abundance of what's in the heart.
Okay.
And most people, they think that they can represent a community. The only one that actually can represent a community are those that the community elect. But when you out in the world community, or whether in your individual neighborhood, the only one you actually representing is yourself.
Okay.
Because if you and the community were in unity, then you could be a representative. Just like me, I'm a representative of the Muslim community. You could be a representative. Just like me, I'm a representative. But as far as like with Muslims, many of our people, they have an old lie that they've been pushing. Don't air your dirty laundry. I say, you ain't got no choice but to air it because it's already seen anyway. It's even Dr. Cosby, when he was telling our people about the waste of money,
Yes.
all he was doing was pointing out an observation that everyone that can see already saw.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't hide our wastefulness and whatnot. So when you represent, whether you like it or not, what's in your heart is seen by your actions and by what comes out of your mouth. So we have no choice but to represent based on what's in our heart. That's why we need to change our heart. That's why the scripture says, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart. Because if you don't turn your heart is your spiritual heart is your mind. Mm-hmm. With all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, all your mind. Well, that is just another way of saying turn yourself over to God by your reasonable obedience, and He will change your heart.
Yes.
From an old stony heart to a human or flesh heart. Yes. These people don't have no humanity in them. There's a police officer boasting to a citizen that he don't kill nothing but black people. Mm-hmm. And you think he has a heart? Mm-hmm. No, he don't have no human heart. He's a beast. And we sick of him, and all of them that think like him, they gotta go.
Yeah. Okay. So
now, I'm offering salvation. I'm not. Believe me, I don't hate white people. I don't hate anybody. Right. But I hate what I see going on. And Allah has empowered me now with the help of the forces of nature. He has empowered me to do something about it, and I'm going to put a stop to it.
Okay. Thank you. So, DJ 8 Mile, does that answer your question? Or you got his opinion?
First, I want to say thank you, son of man. Miss Collette.
Yes.
Gives you opportunity for her listening artists to grow from what you say.
Okay.
This is the third or fourth time I've asked you to elaborate on one of my tools of success.
Okay.
And you have, without being argumentative, without being controversial, and using mad love, respect, and the answer. Sure. So I want to say thank you. Because I really appreciate that, son of man. And I appreciate you blowing up her show. I can see the smile on her face.
Yeah, because you know what? And let me interject right there if I can. And 8 Mile, thank you, because see, what you all just experienced is all that I've ever desired in this conversation, and I believe that was Mr. Harrison's desire and goal when he initially started this conversation with the Son of Man. Just that you can get information. Remove yourself from either what you believe, what you think, what you've been taught, if you disagree with the Son of Man, because it's biblical. The things that from what I've experienced with what we are combative about with Son of Man, you all don't like his presentation, but you got to get the information. You all, that's what this is about. So you see how seamless that was. DJ 8 Mile had a question. He asked an opinion. He gave a statement. Son of Man responded. No problems, you all. No problems. Now, whether that was what 8 Mile thought or what he had an expectation of, that's neither here nor there. There was a dialogue between the two of them, and then it ended up favorable because we all heard, we were able to think about it, we're able to learn something from it, and I know that we'll be better because of it. That's what this all ends up being. Because the truth, no matter all of it, when it's all said and done, all we have is each other and who we say we are in our actions.
Now,
And,
Miss Collette,
yes.
I will say this. Now,
Sure.
the book called The Tools of Success,
Okay.
that is a book created and designed by DJ 8 Mile.
Yes.
The reason why the Son of Man can elaborate on it is because a tool of success is based on something that it don't matter what you look like, it don't matter whether you're 5-year-old, don't matter whether you're a grandparent, don't matter where your mental state is, don't even matter if you're from the United States or not, or even speak English. It applies to all. And everything Son of Man says applies to all. Even if it's from his own personal perspective, it still applies to all. That's why Son of Man can give me an appropriate answer when I ask him his opinion on a tool of success. Nothing more, nothing less.
Okay.
Am I right, Son of Man?
Well, I'm able to elaborate on whatever. Remember, I'm the answer to 400 years of our people suffering, President. And so I'm connected to all of you, whether you realize it or not. If you notice, a lot of things that
I got you.
You all felt anyway. You just may not have been able to articulate it like me. But I speak just like when your hand hurts. The hand can't speak, but the head speaks for the hand and articulates the term ouch. And someone said, "What's wrong?" My hand, you notice the head refers to the members of the body as belonging, as property.
Yeah.
My hand hurts. Well, me and my people are connected. All of you are connected to me, whether you like it or not. And, I speak like I speak because I'm the head.
I'll say this for the man.
I'm the head for all people. And that's why, you notice I don't, I can get on somebody about something wrong that they do, but I don't hate them while I'm doing it.
Okay.
I just hate what they're doing. You don't hate your body. It may be getting on your nerves or something hurting you or whatnot, your leg or whatever, and you say, "Good gracious, I wish my leg would stop hurting."
Right.
I had to bring up my leg because my leg had been hurting me. But anyway, what you going to do? It's yours.
Right.
So
right.
You feel for it. That's what the head is. The head empathizes with the body. So I know what you feel, and I can articulate it. I can put it in words where can't nobody condemn you for saying ouch. You see, you notice I don't shut white people's mouth. They know them say nothing.
Son of Man,
Okay. 8
I
Mile.
will say this.
I promise you this.
One of the things that me and you have in common, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Wait.
I will never give you a justifiable reason to be ashamed of me.
Okay. And so, the man, I'm going to give 8 Mile the opportunity to finish up his thought. 8 Mile,
Okay.
can you can finish your thought? 8 Mile?
Oh,
Yes.
Talking about me?
Yes. Can you finish your thought?
Okay,
Sure.
well, I mean, like I said, I apologize for interrupting you, Son of Man, but one thing me and you have in common is J.D. Hill. He was a strong supporter of you, and he happened to be my mentor. Now, when it comes down to TV 33, all the years, all the time, I've seen you and I've seen him put money in that station for it to stay on the air. At times, we wasn't even nobody spend no money with them. So with that being said, I have to come up with somehow, some way to keep that J.D. Hill legacy going.
Yes, sir.
But until then, thank you for keeping J.D. Hill legacy going. If don't nobody else say anything to you, because J.D. Hill is the one that created the environment for anybody and everybody to call that TV show and talk about whatever. If they want to argue, if they want to complain, if they want to trip, if they want to take out their frustrations on the host that they don't even know. But we do have that access through TV 33. So let's also thank R.J. Watkins, too, for that, because it's his idea and his money that maintain that.
Sure.
So I want to say thank you to both of y'all. You know I love you, Miss Collette.
Well, we appreciate you.
Y'all both take care, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you, 8 Mile. Thank you so much for calling in. I mean, everyone, that's what it's about. It's about being able to have a conversation, having a perspective. 8 Mile, you know, you're always welcome to come in and we can talk about the work that you've created and your tools of success. That's a conversation piece. That's what it's about, everyone. To be able to make the connection, to be able to meet you right where you are and have fruitful dialogue. So, man, I'm going to give you the opportunity, please, to wrap up and prepare us for what we're going to encounter tonight with you in the new Nation of Islam.
Well, I want to say that this evening, you know, I don't just make empty statements.
Right.
Any white person that feels that I'm speaking out of term or saying something that's erroneous, or if they think I'm crazy, they are welcome to come in and offer their evidence to support their position.
Okay.
When I'm on the air, you know, I'm not a bigot.
Okay.
Even though I talk to a lot of bigots, you know, I don't subscribe to bigotry.
Okay.
Bigotry is when you want people to hear your ideas while you refuse to listen to theirs.
Right.
That's not what I do.
No.
I let people question the ideas that I present. I let people argue with the ideas that I present, whether they want to do it point for point or as a whole.
Okay.
If someone stops me, you know it. Whenever I'm speaking, if they get my attention, if I hear a sound, I would say, who was that? What is that?
Right.
I stop because I'm a teacher. If you are a teacher, you have to stop when the people that you claim you teaching have a question for you or an argument for you.
Great.
I expect arguments because I'm teaching the most controversial subject on the planet, which is religion.
Yeah.
And everybody got religion.
Yeah.
Everybody got their own opinions about religion. So I could not claim to be teaching religion if I wasn't ready to argue with people. That's why I tell you I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
These other people call themselves preachers and imams and all of this stuff. Well, the truth of the matter is they're not teachers. They're just parroting what they heard.
Nice.
And when you question or disbelieve what they hear, what they tell you, then they call you a disbeliever. But that's not what a disbeliever is. The disbeliever is someone who disbelieves in the man that God say that God sent. If you don't believe that man is from God, then you are called a disbeliever.
Right.
But if someone is bringing you something from God and bringing you the truth from God, the way you know it's the truth is that you really can't argue with it. Once it's like daylight. When somebody tell you that's daylight out there, there's no argument there.
Great.
That's the way God's representative speaks. That's how you can tell whether I'm Allah's representative.
Okay.
If you can argue with something that I say, if you can present arguments that disprove something that I say, then obviously I didn't get it from God. Yeah. But I haven't heard nobody disprove anything I say. If I call the white man the devil, the white man shut his mouth. Because he know I can prove it again and again, and in so many ways I can prove it. And he ain't ashamed to be the devil. You know why?
Right.
Because in the absence of God, the devil ruled.
Yeah.
As long as I was dead, he was ruling. But I ain't dead no more. And so he got time to straighten himself up. But you're going to see hurricane after hurricane come after this country.
Wow.
Because he's so wicked. He's so low down. And you through terrorizing my people.
Nice.
The biggest terrorist on the earth, accusing righteous people of being Muslim terrorists. You ain't never heard nobody call Muslims terrorists while the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was here. Then they go and find some people that they've been in bed with undercover and bring them over here and misrepresent Islam and then start calling people Islamic terrorists. You needn't think I'm going to hide the fact that I'm a Muslim. I ain't got to hide from nobody.
Right.
And neither do my followers have to hide.
That's right. That's right.
So, brothers and sisters, you know, Allah is with you. If you with me, Allah is with you. Don't be sitting up there scared because you see, hear about tornadoes and all that stuff coming. They ain't going to bother you. You just get out the way.
Right.
You know, you say that the messenger said it like this. He said, little do they know that the Muslims in their midst is a protection for them. Wow. And that's not something that you just snap out of thin air. That's over there in the book of Genesis. When Abraham met the angels on the way to Sodom and Gomorrah, he said, will you destroy the righteous with the wicked? Far be it above the judge, from the judge of the earth to destroy the righteous with the wicked. What if there be 50 righteous there? He said, well, I'll spare it for 50's sake. Well, what if that ain't for 40? I'll spare it for 40's sake. He got all the way down to 10. He said, I'll spare it for 10's sake.
Right.
So as long as any of my followers is around any place, then that place is safe.
Absolutely.
Now that's your mind at ease.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Son of Man, it's always a pleasure. I tell everyone, you make sure it's an open invitation to continue the conversation with Son of Man tonight. As always, we put the information up after the show to give you either the call-in number, the identification information, so that you can continue the dialogue. Because that's what it's about. It's about getting information.
Collette, I have one more thing I would like to share about Mr. Harrison.
Oh, yes, sir.
You know, that's the one thing that I really love and respect about Mr. Harrison, Richard Harrison.
Yes.
I remember me and Richard had some heated arguments with each other. I mean, Richard he didn't bite his tongue. Right. But because he was honest about how he felt, he and I were able to dialogue and be truthful with each other. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, we became friends.
Right.
You know, I mean, he's the one that told me that I need to come on and start. If I would come on with him on Fridays, and I consented to it because I know Richard was not the kind of person. If he didn't like it, he wouldn't pretend. At least he didn't pretend with me.
Right.
He told me how he felt.
Right.
And I respected that.
Yeah.
And I still respect him.
Yes.
And just like with you, I don't want you biting your tongue.
Right.
If I say something that don't rub you right or whatever, you can tell me.
Absolutely. Let me just let you know, Son of Man, that I will. That's not a problem. I'm at the point in my life, you know, that book by Mr. Allen, As a Man Thinketh, So Is He.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's who I am with you. I ask questions. In my preparation for the conversations for this week, I think about the dialogues that we have. And so my search for truth and honoring God in me won't afford me to not ask the questions. It won't afford me. I don't have, like you just said, you don't ever have to silence your tongue if you're sincere in your intent. So thank you, sir, for saying that, but absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you for having me this morning.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure, everyone. I challenge you tonight. Call on in. Don't be afraid. Because if it's your truth, You're going to get it one way or another. And either it will remain the same or you're going to change it. So you all see the information on the screen. You can continue tonight with the Son of Man, the New Nation of Islam, at 9 p.m. on WHPR and TV 33. You see the call-in information as well and the access code. Don't want you guys to go anywhere. We're going to take a break, and we're going to continue with Freestyle Friday. Thank you, Son of Man.